So hi, my name is Harry Nidger. I am here with my great friend Damien Davis. We are going to go into Damien Davis's story. I've been following Damien since 2020 for a number of years, and there's so much value he's going to bring, and we're just going to get straight into it. Let's go.
My name's Damien. I work for ServiceNow, big tech company. I've been very lucky to work there for 12 years. I've built a great career there. I'm currently in a senior position in the product management organisation. My job is really to meet people and listen to customer feedback that helps drive actionable insights that influences our product roadmap. I'm a brand ambassador. I'm a LinkedIn influencer for ServiceNow. The term influencer I put in inverted commas. I get a lot of engagement out of my social media on LinkedIn. I've got a huge following and network that is very supportive and is really encouraging me through some personally difficult times and very supportive of my career as well.
You know, we've been talking for lots and lots of time online, on social, obviously met several years ago, and it's come to this point now where I wanted to get your story, and like kind of document it on film.
Feel like a celebrity,
yeah,
but a fake celebrity.
So let's tell the audience about your story, and let's focus on one of the key moments.
Sure.
And we'll just run from there. How does that sound?
It sounds great. Like I'm very lucky. I live at home with my wife, my two boys. I've got a beautiful older daughter. I've got a reasonably successful career and a lovely family home. I feel really lucky and privileged. But when you say about telling my story, I know which angle we're going down, and we have to sort of dive back a bit in the past, almost 15 years, to where this kind of chapter starts.
Let's just kick off from where you think the story, is at its most.
The story we're telling, ultimately, is about overcoming grief and personal challenges to drive inspirational change and raise awareness for better mental health. That's the ultimate goal. But where my story begins is back in the summer of 2010.
So tell me what happened in 2010.
2010, failed marriage, breakdown of relationship, and I ended up relocating to live back with my mother in where I live today, in my hometown of Cricklade. It's a very small town in North Wiltshire. It's got a village atmosphere to it. It's often referred to as a village, apart from the older locals who say it's not a village, it's a town.
Where were you before this?
Before that, I've bombed around multiple places. I grew up in North Kent. I went to school in Gravesend. Nice. But I relocated to the Cricklade, Swindon, Cotswold area in the mid-90s.
Okay, so you moved back with the mum.
So 2010, July 2010, and I've moved back to live with my mum. I'm like mid-30s, and I'm like, life's not too good at the minute, failed relationship, living at home with my mum. Didn't really have any career to date. I had a good job. Well, I say good job. I had a job, and I was feeling pretty sorry for myself, wallowing in self-pity.
And then what happened?
Well, my mum said when I moved back, she goes, "Have you heard the news about your friend Wayne?" For some context, Wayne was a childhood friend. One of my mum's best friends, Kay, lived like 10 doors down from each other. And as younger kids and as late teens, we'd get into all sorts of scraps and, like a village friend, right? So we didn't actually go to school together because I'd left school by the time I moved to the area. But we were like, preschool, is it post-school, I guess, graduated, late teens, early 20s, knocking about. And she said to me, Wayne has very sadly been diagnosed with leukemia and he's not very well. She said, you should go and visit him. So I arranged to go and visit him in the local hospital in Swindon. And like I say, I'm reflecting on my life, feeling pretty sorry for myself, broken down marriage, living at home with my mum, didn't really have any worldly possessions. I literally had, 2 holdalls full of clothes, and that was all I had to show for my life. And I felt a bit of a failure at the time. And the truth is, I was really, I'm not trying to beef it up or down, but I hadn't really achieved what I wanted to in life because I didn't really have any ambition. September 2010, I went to Swindon Hospital to visit Wayne, and we just started chatting. He's there in a hospital bed. Yeah. Like I say, I'm wallowing in self-pity, feeling pretty sorry for myself. Yeah. And there's one of my childhood friends, and he's wired up to IVs, and he's having chemotherapy, and he had black eyes and bruises from side effects of all the treatment. And yet, despite that, he was all positive and full of like real positive energy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him going, wow, like you're now inspiration.
How is that even possible?
Right? You're literally, he was dying. They were literally trying to prolong or save his life with this treatment, but he was really, really sick, really sick. And we were chatting about football. He's a big Manchester United fan. I'm a Spurs fan.
And Wayne's young, right? Like,
yeah,
he's not,
yeah,
like...
no. I mean, he was 26, right?
And was it kind of an unexpected thing that it happened quite quickly? Or?
It did. He'd been diagnosed. They'd been on a family holiday earlier that year, and he had a big lump in his throat, felt really poorly. Went to the doctors. They referred him to the hospital, and it was acute myeloid leukemia, which apparently is a very aggressive form of leukemia.
Wow.
I'm not a medical expert, but he got sick really quick and really poorly. But like I say, he was really positive, and he was talking about his girlfriend Sammy and his daughter Caitlin. She was like 2 at the time, and they'd been planning to get married the following summer. So they were always going to get married in the summer of 2011. And he was chatting about that. We were chatting about football, about music, about rock bands and stuff. And I've got to be honest, it really was one of those, eureka moments that changed my life, because suddenly I felt that all of my pains and troubles were so minuscule in comparison that he just motivated me with this positivity. Yeah. And I don't want to exaggerate, but it really was life-changing. That moment changed my life and changed my perception and my outlook on life.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward from September through to December, and the nurses and doctors had pretty much said, look, we're really sorry, Wayne, we've done all we can for you. We think you should go home to spend Christmas with your family. And him and Sammy talked about the wedding, and the reality was he was so poorly that we all knew he probably wasn't going to make the following summer. And as sad and as tragic as that was, the family all rallied round and they were able to get a date at the local church just before Christmas. It was literally a couple of days before my mum's birthday, which is like the week before Christmas. So it's mid-December. And I remember it well because of the life-changing moment, but more because I'd been to see the Kings of Leon in concert in Birmingham the night before, and was trying to get back for the wedding, and there were blizzards. The M5 on the way home was absolute carnage. It was there was like snow everywhere. There's a foot of snow, absolute blanket of snow. Now, as you can imagine, a snowy wedding. It was a fairy tale white wedding.
Yeah.
Sammy looked beautiful. Caitlin was this cute little bridesmaid.
Yeah.
And Wayne, by this time, he was in a wheelchair, so he was really, really poorly. But he gets out of the wheelchair, and I get all emotional. He gets out of the wheelchair and he walks down the aisle unaided, and there wasn't a dry eye in the church.
And you had all the local people, I guess.
Yeah, the church was rammed. It was like standing room only, 300 people maybe. All the friends and family.
Wow.
And he was very brave, very courageous, walked all the way down the aisle unaided, and they had a beautiful wedding. And there are some absolutely picturesque photos outside. It was bloody freezing, by the way. But you can imagine these fairy tale snowy wedding photos.
Yeah.
And then there's a lovely picture of Wayne and myself at the wedding reception that ultimately turned out to be the last picture we would have taken together. And I didn't know that at the time. I was to put my arm around him, say congratulations. Sadly, he passed away just a couple of weeks later. So it was 3rd of Jan, 2011. He passed peacefully in his sleep with his family around him. And that's chapter 1, but...
So he was only married for...
Couple of weeks, 2 weeks. One of the things I do want to just add is like what him and Sammy did though was they created a memory box for Caitlin because she was so young. So he basically wrote birthday cards for her right up to her 21st birthday.
Wow. And they're still going today, I imagine.
Yeah, that's 14 years ago and she was 2, so she must be 16 now, bless her.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, incredible. And look, tragic, very sad. You can see I get emotional about it.
This is one of the most traumatic things you probably have ever experienced.
Yeah.
And what happened next?